Welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Heather Childers along with Bob Sellers. Dr. Anthony Fauci's newly released emails giving insight into the early months of the pandemic, some appearing to contradict what he had been saying in press conferences and interviews. Now, the mainstream media seems to be downplaying the controversy, saying that he had been pressured and under stress, and CNN excusing the situation by saying that saying this about the emails, that they reveal the weight that came with his role, and it was a rare source of frank honesty. Well, MSNBC also making light of the situation. Watch.
The true mark of someone is if they look good, even when their personal emails come out. So you pass the test that very few of us would pass.
She even responding to the controversy, saying that the emails are too ripe to be taken out of context. This afternoon, Congressman Steve Scalise and other GOP members released a letter demanding that Fauci come to Capitol Hill to testify about the emails and explain himself. So Bob and I were going back and forth a little bit during the commercial break, about people asking questions. And I think a lot of this with Dr. Fauci was so shut down, Dennis, from the very, or actually, Carl, I'll start with you because I'm not sure we heard from you in the last segment, was shut down immediately because in part, then President Trump was trying to point a finger at China and the Wuhan lab. So is that how you think all of this began as we continue to learn that maybe there were some things that were known that were not presented to the public?
Well, I think
Dr.
we're going
Fauci.
from flip-flop Fauci to fraudster Fauci. That's the big question. Is this just him flip-flopping? Is he just wrong habitually? Does he change his position all the time? Or is there something more sinister going on? And that's why I support Congressman Scalise's call for oversight hearings. We need to get him under oath. We need to look at all the emails, unredacted, by the way. When you look at Freedom of Information Act requests, government agencies tend to not produce all the documents. We need to get to the bottom of this because we shut down an entire economy. We took away people's personal freedoms and liberties. And now we're finding that our public health establishment was not being forthcoming and honest with us from the get-go. We know that Fauci lied about the masks. That is something that he even admitted as much, saying that he discouraged people from getting masks because he was afraid everyone was going to go out in March and April of 2020 and get masks and overwhelm the system. Well, cotton masks, that's not going to overwhelm the system. And now we find that he was lying or at least grossly misrepresenting the situation as it relates to COVID-19 origins. The evidence was pointing at the Wuhan lab that he funded, that he was involved in, that he was up to his nostrils in all sorts of funding and dialogue with that lab. And so we need to get to the bottom of it because it's no longer just a flip-flop issue. This is an issue of fundamental fraud against the American people.
Dennis, what do you think in terms of Dr. Fauci and what we're discovering?
Dr. Fauci has done more to politicize the pandemic than any politician. He might be a great immunologist. He might be a tremendous expert. He's got great credentials, but he has no respect for the process. And his opinion has driven so much panic from this pandemic that it is really distasteful. Imagine if a general decided to say, well, we should bomb this country. No, let's bomb this country. Oh, no, I think I was. And they're misspeaking. They're speaking out of protocol. They're not supposed to be speaking about it at all. Dr. Fauci has used his bully pulpit, unfortunately, to confuse America. And that has gone outside the protocols, I believe, that are within his realm that he should be going up the chain. Let the policymakers make the decisions. You provide the data. You provide the information. That's your role. I agree. Steve Scalise and Rand Paul should bring him in and grill him about this. The American people need to be, given the truth on this. And we have gone through a year and a half of incredible inconvenience, incredible tragedies with death, but yet we've also been led by a bureaucrat who is accountable to no one other than the NIH.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because so much power seems to, at least, Stacey, have been given to Dr. Fauci, and then we were following everything Dr. Fauci said to do. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear two masks. you know, and waiting for him to say, we're still waiting for him to say, I think, when we can reopen and when it's over.
Yeah, I mean, so there was an article out the other day. I think I can't remember what website it was that said the pandemic is over, and they were using the metrics that they had set for themselves a year ago on how many people are, you know, in America are dying, how many deaths, how many hospitalizations, et cetera. So we've passed that threshold. The pandemic is actually over as it pertains to the word pandemic. But when we talk about holding him accountable, there's something that we're leaving out, and this actually works to his favor. If we are paying attention to his book being yanked from Amazon and other booksellers, if we're paying attention to what he flip-flopped on, the mask, not mask, if we only look at his damage, the damage to the economy that's directly attributable to his directives, then we missed the biggest deal. The biggest deal here is that he participated in gain-of-function research, which should be outlawed, by the way, and he shipped American taxpayer dollars to the Wuhan lab in order to fund gain-of-function research. So this is something that actually precipitated the actual event that we're all so upset about, the event that we still have not gotten over financially, emotionally, physically. Our children have not gotten over it educationally. And so he should be held accountable for that. But we shouldn't expect him to tell the truth. See, I think our problem is we're like, let's bring him in. Let's put him under oath. He's a habitual liar. He benefits from the sale of socks that say, in Fauci we trust, mugs, in Fauci we trust. He has created for himself almost an aura of indispensability and infallibility that no bureaucrat should ever possess. So yes, put him under oath, but don't expect him to tell the truth. Read his emails and learn a lesson, America. We allowed a bureaucrat, a career bureaucrat who's actually a political operator, to destroy our economy. Never again.
And Bobby had time to write a book too, right? His book's coming out.
True.
Yeah.
I just think he's lost credibility. I think he's had a good run. I think he needs to be accountable for what he said. But I also think, you know, it's time to start getting stuff in your office. I think it's time.
Yeah, a lot of damage has been done. All right, everyone. Coming up, from would-be assassin to YouTube crooner, the new videos that are making many cringe. John Hinckley's YouTube page when American Agenda continues.